Welcome, everyone. My name is Terry Lynn, and this is Evolving Always Productions. And I'm really glad that y'all have come out tonight because I'm telling you, I have a treat for you. I absolutely love this woman because she is so phenomenal. She's so gifted. She's so intelligent. She's always willing to help people. It's maddening. This woman's just phenomenal. So her name is Quenby, and you probably know her as the Grateful Queen, but she's also the Grateful Therapist. She is actually her business is she's an entrepreneur. She's a serial entrepreneur, and she is a therapist. So that is one of the things that she does. But she also does reselling. Some of it, I think, for fun, but she's also very successful at it. So we'll hear more about that in a moment. She's just so phenomenal. She has two YouTube channels. You know, some people are struggling with one. This phenomenal woman has two. So, okay. And one of them, of course, is the Grateful Queen, where you find out everything about the reselling industry, all her e-commerce business, what she's got going on. She just gives you just a wealth of knowledge. You better check. If you don't check it out, you're going to be sorry. If you want to be successful in reselling, you need to be checking her out. And then she also has the Grateful Therapist. She also has that on YouTube, and that's she can talk more about what she does. Some of it she's going to be dealing with grief, some of it dealing with working with teenagers. It's different things that she does, but she's so intelligent, just super smart. And hello, Quibby, I'm so glad you're here.
Hello, that is hands down the best introduction I've ever received.
I can't believe it because you're just so phenomenal. Anybody that knows you just knows this woman is awesome. And hello, everybody that's joined. And also, if for people out there that are new, I do this on a podcast. So catch it on there, and I'll put all the information because you should follow her. I will have her Instagram information. Make sure y'all are following her on Instagram if y'all aren't already, because, like I said, this woman is so knowledgeable. She's super, super smart. So, Quimby, we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start talking. So you decided to become a therapist. Talk to us about that, because I think that's interesting.
How I started to become a therapist?
Mm-hmm. You decided.
Gosh, it's been a long time. I mean, I've been a therapist for 15 years or so.
Wow. Okay.
You know, it's a long, good story, but I grew up with a single mom, 6 kids. So it was not like an easy peasy, upbringing. And I felt challenged in a lot of ways. I really kind of had a difficult adolescence. And so it's no wonder that the majority of my clients now are teens and teenagers, because I know what it's like to have that struggle at that developmental stage of life. And I connect really well with teenagers, I think, because it was kind of a really challenging time for me. So I knew probably by the time I was 30 for sure that that's what I wanted to do. But it's a very long haul career-wise to become a psychotherapist, because you do graduate school and then you do internship and then you get ready for your exams. It's a very long haul. So it took me a while to kind of get there, and I had kind of a deviant path that deviated many different ways. But I knew I always wanted to do something around healing work.
And I can see that, because that's so a part of, the way you communicate with people. It shows. Like, if you didn't tell anybody that you're serving and you were just like, I'm just going to talk about reselling, it would not surprise me if I found out. It's like, of course she is. It's just the way you communicate. It's obvious. And you're so inclusive as well. And I think obviously being a therapist, that's something that's very important, to be very inclusive. What's advice you would give for somebody considering that as a career?
I think, God, if you feel it as a calling, like I did, like I knew that that's a big part of my life purpose, to help people feel seen and heard and understood and listened to and really connected with. If that's what you really want to do more than anything, go for it and make a plan, because it's a long haul. And it's the same sort of thing we say about reselling, right? Like when we talk about reselling and we tell people, like, if you want to be a full-time reseller, maybe don't quit your day job right away. Maybe make sure you're selling for a while and you're successful and you like it, and you're going to be okay as a self-employed person without a regular paycheck. And if you get there and you're ready, then take the leap. But it's a long haul, and it takes a while before you make money as a therapist, because you have to be supervised and as an intern for a long time. But if it's what you really want to do, God, is it fulfilling work? It's really beautiful, fulfilling work. So,
Well, I think if you have the right mindset, and obviously you do. So if you have the right mindset, and you have to really want to be able to help people too, I'm sure, which you obviously have that mindset. I can see that. Yeah, I was curious about that. So, and what are good times? Are there any other things that you would recommend to people if they're thinking about that as a field?
well, yeah, I gotta say hi to Alana and Jess. I can't help it, and Lindsay
You can
and
say
Kristen.
that. That's what I
I'm looking at
definitely
the
want
chat,
you
and
to
I'm so used
say.
to being like, "Hi guys, I'm so glad you're here."
Hey,
And
we're
I'm
on
looking at the chat.
YouTube. We're on YouTube, and the Grateful Queen, which is Quenby, she's phenomenal, and she's such a giving, loving person. So you will hear that, and that's what we want. So go ahead, Quenby. Feel comfortable.
Anyway, I'm just like, my friends are here. I need to say hi first. Hi guys, I'm so thankful for you being here. And a lot of the people in the chat I know are not also resellers. They do other stuff too. So a lot of us have like different hats.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, if someone was interested in wanting to do some type of counseling, become a counselor, there's so many different types. I'm a family therapist, but you could be a school counselor, you could be a life coach. Hi, Tina or Tinya.
Yes,
You
Tanya.
know,
Yep,
Tinya, what an awesome name.
it
There's
is. I
so many
love it.
different ways you can go with it. But to speak to your point, like if I'm honest, I didn't get in to be a therapist because I wanted to help people. Like I just I don't know, if I help people, that's fantastic, but I don't think so much of myself that I can just, well, I'm going to be a helper because I know everything, because I definitely do not. I think the way I look at therapy, I don't look at my clients as like, come on in so I can help you. I think it's more for me about walking the path with somebody, and saying, hey, whatever's going on for you, here I am. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to reflect you back to you. We're going to get through this together. We're going to figure out some options for you. I think most people know how to help themselves. I
So it's
think
kind of a symbiotic relationship, then more so.
yeah, for me, and that's not true for every therapist. A lot of people consider themselves experts in a certain field, and they're going to tell you how to fix yourself. But I kind of look at it more like, I think people just need the time to sit with somebody who's present with them and wants to hear what they have to say and help them figure it out for themselves. That's where the real power is. I can give you all the best advice ever, but it's got to come from within, the change that you want to make. So I think I just sit with people and encourage the conversation and help them figure it out for themselves. It's so rare, right, Terry, that we give people our undivided time and attention.
I
Hi,
agree, and
Veronica.
I
Veronica popped
agree.
in.
I agree with what you just said. So that makes a lot of sense because sometimes people need someone to listen to them. They definitely do, and you're there, but also you're there in a professional level too, which is great.
Right. Like
But
I know the interventions, I know the questions to ask. That's what I'm trained in, but I really feel like my role is to just be there with someone and help them to figure it out what it is that they want to do. Most people, advice is not really all that helpful. We can share our stories with someone and maybe inspire somebody, but most people just need the time and space to sit with someone so that they can figure it out for themselves.
yeah, and because you're right, at the end of the day, if they don't do it themselves, it's not going to get done. And that's something to think about too, because evolving always productions, we're all about helping people to evolve and be better, just be a better person. So that's something, what you're saying is so important to realize that people that are listening, you need to know that you have the power to help yourself, but you do have to believe it. So that's very important. So now let's talk about the reselling, which I
The
love when you
reselling.
talk
Hey,
about it.
Babette came in, and
Yeah,
Marina and Noreen. Hi, friends. I'm so glad you're here. I love it.
they're awesome.
Such
Hello,
good
everybody.
friends.
They are. They're such sweet people. All of them. So supportive. Definitely. And it's Marina. Hey, Marina. I said Marina Michelle. Wasn't sure which one. So talk to us about your reselling because I know you love it. It's kind of a hobby for you, but it's still a business for you. You do really well in it. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think of it as a hobby. I definitely think of it as a business. It's just that I have
Yeah.
a few different businesses going on, so I'm kind of
Mhm.
divided. I mean, I guess I'd say my full-time job is as a psychotherapist. I always need to put that first. That's how I
Mhm.
make the majority of my money, and it's kind of a huge part of my life purpose, as I said. So,
Right.
when I'm triaging like what needs to get done, it's always like, okay, what do I need to do for my therapy business? Do I have clients I need to call back or schedule appointments and stuff? But the reselling for me, I guess it's part time, but it's still absolutely a business. I run it as a business. I've been doing it for almost 10 years on eBay and a few years on Poshmark. I just this like last week started on Etsy a little bit. I'm excited. I saw the Flipping Gals were here, and I know they talked a lot about Etsy being such a great platform. I think they have a course. Is that right?
They have a course, and I highly recommend you take it. I'm being really serious. It's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
3 sections, and because I'm new to Etsy as well, but there's so much that you need to know about it, and it's
Yeah.
a phenomenal market. And they made like 30,000, I think, last year, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. They'll correct me in chat, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in there. So yeah, it's great that you decided to get into it. I know you'll
Yeah,
do really well in it.
I'm starting doing the digital download stuff rather than selling vintage stuff right
Okay.
now, but I'm
Mhm.
open to learning and doing more. Now I'm just trying to find a way to get some of my materials out to people because I get a lot of the same questions both on my therapy channel and my reselling channel, so I'm trying to find another way to put my tools in people's hands. So I started 2 Etsy shops, one for the Grateful Therapist and one for the Grateful Queen, just trying to get tools to people. It's pretty cool. Do you know all about that, Terry? How you can just download a printable from Etsy?
Yeah, I don't do that, but that is how I actually started using Etsy because I had
Oh,
so many
cool.
friends doing that. And I am actually going to be doing that myself. So it's ironic that you talk about that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So, what type of material would people look to find when they go on to your Etsy stores, your sites? What could they gain
Well,
from it?
I'm just starting to be totally honest with you guys. I mean, it's like the last week or two. So,
Hmm.
like, I started first because my other channel, The Grateful Therapist, I have some videos on about working with teens, doing therapy with teens. I wonder if anyone in the chat has like teenagers or but I'm doing a lot around working with teens, and so a lot of newer counselors are messaging me and being like, can you make the questions that you ask teens available, or can you make this available? So I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So then I learned you could do it on Etsy. So I've got a couple things now in my Grateful Therapist shop, like teen question therapy cards and things like that. And then on my reselling shop, the Grateful Queen, I just put out like my reseller to-do list and my best brand list and stuff like that that people are always asking me. Super cheap. Like you can charge a few bucks and then people can get it.
Well, that's awesome because that's what we need to know. So you've heard it from Quimby. If you need that type of material, you're going to go to her Instagram. Like I mentioned, please follow her. If you're not following her, you're missing out. And you can click on her link tree, which will direct you to her Etsy store. And like I said, I was talking about the Flipping Gals. They did make that last year, and they're already, it's just March, they've made 14,000. So great deal. There's a lot of room
On
in
Etsy,
Etsy.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's great. And you can definitely go to the Flipping Gal site if you want more information about the webinars because they do have it. And I highly recommend it. I did take it. So you need to do it. But anyway, so I'm glad you're doing that. What about you thinking about doing any ebooks in the future? Because I could see that from you for some reason.
Probably. I just have to figure out, yeah, I want to figure out what's actually needed. Like there are so many amazing tools out there already. There's so
Hmm.
many great YouTube channels. Anything that you want to try in your reselling business, there's not really a good reason to hold yourself back because there's so much information out there on YouTube. There are so many people that have put together a lot of good information for anything you want to do. So I just want to figure out what's actually needed, what people in my community want. So I'll be open to hearing that from people.
Yeah. And that's cool because the way you run your lives, which are phenomenal, like I said, you just have a phenomenal. I love it. That's why I hated I missed it this past Friday. Me and my husband, I told you we just started Amazon, and we kind of like it's a lot more we've got to get into with it. But we're working on getting ungated and doing all that good stuff and running around. So it's been kind of a
Wow.
busy time. And then we're doing the eBay partner. Are you doing that, by the way? The eBay partner? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The eBay, no, I'm not sure what it is. The eBay partner?
Yeah, you can become an eBay partner as well. So I've got to do the training on that. It's kind of similar to people that do partnerships with Amazon. So you get paid off of certain things, but it's going to be with eBay. So we're working on that as well. So a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipe because, you know, it's all about having those multiple streams of income, which you know about because that's what you do and do really well.
That's what I do before I even knew that's what it was. Like, that's just the way I've always had side hustles going on from the time I was a teenager. It was like, you know, I've never liked the idea of having one job or everything in one basket, because think about how life is. There's always unexpected things happening for all of us all the time. That is the way life goes. It's funny because we're always like, I can't believe this happened. And it's like, really? Well, this is the way I know life to be. Life throws you so many curveballs all the time, and you just don't know what might happen and which direction your life might take you. So I just always thought it was smart to be doing a few different things.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, you're doing phenomenal with that. I don't even know how you get it all done.
I don't either. I hope no one asks me.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I hope no one asks me how I get it all done, because it'd be like, oh no.
Well, and that was about to pop out of my mouth. But anyway, what I was going to say actually is, I told this story before, but I'm going to, for some people that are new and people that'll be listening later on, what was the reason that you decided to get into reselling exactly?
So I started selling on eBay kind of by accident. Not that I believe in accidents necessarily, but
Right.
you know, when my son Torvald was a newborn and someone gave us some of those super expensive Hannah Anderson pajamas that are organic cotton from Peru. They sell really well too on eBay. So tip, if you see those, pick them up. And they were like, I wanted to get him another pair. So I go on to get another pair, and they were $45. And I've always been frugal. I grew up, like I said, single mom, 6 kids, thrifting. My mom's always thrifted, always had an antique booth and lived and worked in consignment stores. So I kind of grew up with that. And it's also my idea of like the best time ever to like have a few hours, go get a nice coffee and go to the thrift store. Like there's almost nothing better than that. I just, you know, so I was a thrifter anyway. But I went on to try and find them those pajamas, and they were so expensive that I'm like, I'm not paying $45 for some baby pajamas. Hey, Brittany. Brittany popped in.
Hey,
good
Brittany,
to see you.
All bossed up.
Yeah, let me get to that question. Can you bookmark that question? So I don't want to be telling my story and then forget, because that could be good.
Oh, this one right here?
Veronica's got a good question. So the short of that story is I bought him a couple pairs of pajamas on eBay because they were half the price. And then I caught on. I'm like, oh, I'll sell my son's baby clothes and buy him new stuff. So I started just doing it around my son's stuff. And then I realized it took me months. And then I realized, oh my gosh, there's stuff on there for me too. Like, so I started selling my own stuff. It was just organic. And then I started making more money than I knew what to do with. I mean, in terms of like just buying, I had everything I needed for him and me. So I started tucking some money away, and I'm like, oh, this could be a real business. So it just kind of grew from there. But that was the start.
Smart. Yeah, and that's smart of you, because and the cool thing about it is I know that kind of helped you out, because like you said, when you was first a therapist, it took a little while to make the money obviously that you're doing now, of course. So it was really a smart move for you. And I know you want to answer this question. So
what does she say here, Quenby? I don't know if it's. Oh, you're supposed to read it because it's your video. Sorry, go ahead.
Quenby, you are in my. You could do whatever you want, so it's fine.
I'm so used to trying to.
So Quenby, I don't know if it's your niche or not, but would you consider posting content on your young children's behavioral therapy, social, and emotional development, especially as it is affected by the pandemic?
Sure. So does Veronica, do you have little kids, or is this just like a, you have little kids? I don't know if you know, because they're posting content on. I've worked a ton with children, so children and teens. So I'd be happy to just message me about what you're looking for, and I'll make a video for you on young children's behavioral and therapy and social emotional development. Yeah. I mean, that's a big question, but let me know specifically what you want. I'd be happy to do it. I've worked a ton with little kids. I do normally pre-pandemic, I do a day in elementary school, middle school, high school. I go and see kids there too. So I have a lot of experience with that. Just don't ask me anything about how to help my own kid, because that's like a whole nother, like, I'm gonna have to hire someone for that. Like,
It's because he's as smart as you are. He's super smart. I can tell that. He is super smart.
Oh, she's a 4-year-old. Oh yeah, so littles. Yeah.
And for people that are listening, if you have some questions in regards to your teenagers or kids, definitely go to her YouTube, The Grateful Therapist, and you can kind of find out some information. Or if you're dealing with grief issues, things of that nature, you definitely want to go over there. She can actually help you on that. And it's The Grateful Therapist.
I worked at hospice for about 10 years, and I coordinated the children's bereavement program. So I worked a lot with little kids and teenagers. So that's where I just have a lot of experience doing therapy with people that age and doing grief work. And I ran a lot of groups. So, and that channel, it's my baby channel. I told myself, Quenby, if you're going to do another channel, I can't do it the way I'm doing my reselling channel with 2 or 3 videos a week. I just have to let myself do it slowly. So that's something that it's growing pretty quick though. I think it's growing way faster than my reselling channel did.
It's actually doing pretty good, because I went up there. You've got quite a few subscribers, considering, because I know
I haven't done too much. Hey, yeah. Beth Tillman popped in, and Swag Slayer Fashion I didn't say hi to.
Yep, that's right.
She makes a good point. It's so true. We can help others, but have trouble taking care of our own stuff. It's just because we're too close. Like, sometimes we cannot get out of our own way to see things clearly, and you need another person who can look at it neutrally. Like, sometimes it's so hard. We're so stuck in our own stuff and our own thinking and our own way. We can't see it clearly. But then you get a good friend or a professional that can listen to you and be like, okay, it's pretty clear. It's XYZ. But it's hard for us to see our own stuff sometimes. That's normal.
My uncle told me something a long time ago when I was young, because I had asked him a question about something, about a person. I was like, why are they doing this? Can't they see? And he's like, well, sometimes people can't see the forest for all the trees. That's where that saying comes. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. Speaking on your 2 YouTube channels, like I said, we're struggling trying to get our one going, but this phenomenal woman has 2 YouTube channels. Give some advice on YouTube. And I also want to say too, guys, definitely make sure to catch her lives on Friday, because she really navigates, when I say she probably navigates a lot better than anybody I've ever seen, because she has all of these comments coming in. It's like, she has like 50 plus people typing stuff, and I don't know how she keeps up with it. She somehow manages to do this, but I have to give her props on that. But she does that every Friday. And like I said, if you're looking at her reseller channel, she does a lot of unique stuff that it's like education itself. Besides the topics that she goes over, it's just the way she does her videos, the things that she does. You'll know if you start watching them. Trust me, you'll catch it. It's like aha moments, even though some of it I haven't quite figured out how to do. But I said I'm going to keep watching until I do. But anyway, talk to us about.
What do you mean, like editing, Terry? What do you mean? How I do my videos?
You need to be an editing queen.
Oh, I love editing.
You are into it. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But I do want to ask you, what made you decide to do YouTube? What made you decide to get into it?
Such a good question. I think I'd be curious in the chat if there are people that have a new YouTube channel or want one, and if this is like something I'd be happy to share anything that I've learned. I'm still a relatively small channel. I'm at 2,700 on my reselling channel, and it's been, though, almost 2 years. I've been like a slow and steady climber. No one knew who I was. I'd never been to Posh Fest. I didn't have an Instagram account. I just came from nowhere with no idea what I was doing. So I've been kind of a slow, steady kind of growth. And I'm happy to share anything from that very humble place that I come from about it.
But she's monetized, guys, and that's where it's at. So like we were talking about before, multiple streams of income.
Right.
So,
but still, just so you know, it is not, it takes a very long time. Like I see Brittany all bossed up's got a new channel. And from my experience, it takes a very long time. And the money, like even now, you know, I try and be really transparent. It's not much. It does not make any sense for me financially. So the amount of time I put into YouTube and the amount of money I make on YouTube makes zero sense. Like, so if you're someone who doesn't come with a strong subscriber base and following from somewhere else already, and you're thinking, hey, I want to make some money on YouTube, you know, give yourself a few years, because the money, it's not for the money. I think you really, especially in the reselling space, which is very competitive now. It used to be there was no channels, and now there's so many channels. We all have so many choices of who to watch. So if you want to do it and you feel called to do it, 100% do it. If you think you have something to say or something to offer and you just want to, great. But the financial thing, I don't think it's what people think. That's why I'm just trying to be clear about that. You know, I don't think it's the money that people might think it's going to be.
Well, I can go ahead and tell you, I totally understand what you're saying, because basically what you're saying, for the time that you're putting in, because time is money. And when you're an entrepreneur, it really is. It's not where it's at. I look at it from a standpoint that you're so phenomenal that I think it's going to end up getting to a point that it's really going to be worth it. But I do understand what you're saying. I totally do.
I just want people to know that that's a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I got into it, to be honest, and maybe a little bit more revealing than you were hoping for, but I got on it because I was in kind of a tough spot in my life where I was married for 15 years to my husband. We had a small child, and we ended up going through a divorce. And really, it was pretty traumatizing for me. And my whole life had kind of blown up, and I was questioning my identity. Who am I now if I'm not the wife? And I'm not, and I was really kind of blown wide open in a lot of ways. I don't know if anyone else in the chat has gone through something like that, but it's different for everybody. But for me, it was really life shattering, and I had to kind of rebuild who I was. And so I was committed to doing a lot of things that I was afraid of and intimidated by, you know, like, okay, I'm afraid and I'm doing things anyway. I'm moving forward anyway. And I had always kind of had this little voice, like, I'd like to do a YouTube channel, but I was afraid. Why would people watch me? Or what do I have to say? Or what if they don't like it and I get negative comments? Or what if I don't like, I had so many fears. And I was just in a time in my life where I was saying, like, you're doing the things you're afraid of. I remember I was listening to one of my favorite inspiring women, Brene Brown. She's a huge author. She's a researcher. She studies things like vulnerability and shame and stuff. And she was doing a talk, and she said, what would you do if you weren't afraid of what people would think and what they could say? And I remember, I'd do the YouTube thing. And I just stopped and said, okay, that's what you need to do next. Like, that's what you need. I did not know how to do anything. I am very unsavvy technology wise. Like, I am not good. And so I had no idea what I was doing, and I was very nervous. And if you've ever sat there trying to make your first video and you're like, you realize how odd you sound and you're making a weird face and it's very, it is very vulnerable. At least it has been for me. It's a very vulnerable thing to do, to put yourself out there. But I believe in doing things like that. I think you have to be more curious than you are afraid. And I think you have to believe that there's some value in vulnerability. I love Renee, she says.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said. You have to, I look at it as you have to stretch yourself. You really do. And so you're stretching yourself on so many different levels because you had a lot going on in your life.
Right.
And it was kind of like a journal, but not a journal, because you're on video. And then you're stretching yourself because, like you said, you weren't technically savvy at the time. But I'm going to tell y'all, she got her game, because she is like editing somebody.
Oh, that's so new for me. I mean, I don't know when I figured out, like, oh, wait, why don't I make better videos and edit them? I mean, it takes a while. I mean, I'm looking in the chat. I know we've got several people that have YouTube channels and growing
Right.
YouTube channels, so they know. Hey, Rhonda, the Pink Diva Studio. Good to see you. Look at this. Well-read wardrobe says value and vulnerability. Now there's a message. Yeah. Now I want to be super clear. And if you're a Brene Brown fan, you know this already, but that does not mean put your whole self out there with no boundaries and let it all hang out. No, that is not good. It's about, sharing with boundaries.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sharing with boundaries. And I'm a firm believer in that. That's me all the way. But I wanted to say, if you want to kind of see what it looks like when somebody's really taking some time to edit, definitely go to Quenby's channel and look at it, because she has the most interesting unboxings. Oh. She's funny to me because she'll like pull out some shoes or something. I don't know this brand. I wonder how much it is. The next thing you know, it's like pop up. They run the compass 150 to whatever. And I love that. And then she makes these like sounds, and even my husband was entertained. So I was like listening one day. He's like, she's really good. Because he has a YouTube channel.
Oh my God. Thank you.
I've got to get better with the sounds, but I just want to give you props. So people that want to really get into YouTube more, you really go there. You're going to learn so much. Yeah. Exactly.
Look at Brittany. That's so true. You'll learn watching her videos, and she's not annoying. That's fantastic.
That was funny, Brittany.
Oh yeah, I know.
That was hilarious. Yeah, not even slightly. I mean, I love it. It's so entertaining. I just start sometimes laughing, and then when you start doing a little singing thing.
You know what? Anyway. Here's a tip too. It's like you can't really watch them. The other day, so my partner PD has an office, and it's like he's got screens everywhere, and he has this big giant screen, which I don't even have a TV. I don't know anything about that. It's a huge screen. And I walk in the office, and there I am, one of my videos he's watching, and I'm up on this enormous screen. And it was like I just had to slowly back out of the room. Like I do not like thinking that I'm up on someone's screen, and much less someone's big giant screen. It was like, if you think about it that way, I would probably never make another video. Like, you just have to be very gentle with yourself.
Yeah, you have to just, but yeah, because you got to think about, okay, hold on, let me see. I think somebody just said something else.
Beth, love you.
You never find YouTube and you hope you have to make, okay, yeah. Yeah, I like what you said. Yeah, so Quenby, if you never make a find on YouTube what's she say now? Okay. On YouTube, and I hope you make amends. Yeah, she is. I feel that way, Beth. I feel she's going to really do well because she touched me on a personal level, and I appreciate what you do. You understand how important to have someone see you. Oh,
what a great comment, Beth. Thank you. That means so much. It's true, and that's why I say again, my point earlier is not to discourage anyone, but it's just to know, I think it has to be more than about just the money you're going to make on YouTube AdSense. I really do, because there has to be some other meaning there for you, in my opinion, if you're going to stay with it, and if, you got to find what it's about for you.
Yeah, or if you're a patient person and, you're working all ends, because one thing that me and my friend Tiana had a really great conversation. She was on my podcast. She's on a podcast, right? Y'all go to my Instagram and click on my podcast. And she said something that I really like. I mean, I just like the way she said it. We were talking about multiple streams of income. And she said, yeah, because if you take a pot and there's like a slow drip, it's going to really fill up after a while. It's like, yeah. That's true. So just having as many as possible. There's going to be some streams that are really huge and some. Oh, thank you so much, Beth. So sweet. And there are going to be some that, they're going to take a while, but they build. But I just have to say, y'all have to watch our YouTube. I keep saying it over and over again. You do. Make sure you subscribe because you're going to learn a lot. Of course, you're going to learn about reselling. So if you're someone that wants to learn about the reselling industry, and making money, because there's a lot of money to be made in the reselling industry, and it is a business. You are an entrepreneur as a business. You can learn that as well, but you can also learn the ins and outs of YouTube if you are working on a YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm going to ask you something that I want to know about. So you said you spent 2 years living in a yoga. Now I might be saying this wrong. Is that an ashram? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what? Tell us about that.
It's so funny because you're like, tell me some things. So I was just putting off some random thing. Like, why am I telling her this? Has nothing to do with reason. Let's see. So what I grew up in Boston in the city, and so my whole family's on the East Coast. And when I was 23, I kind of packed up my vehicle, my truck at the time, and I said, I'm kind of going on this quest. Like I knew there was something different for me. I've always been a seeker. So I've always been interested in personal development, personal growth, spirituality from the time I was young. And I was like, I knew I was living in Boston and working and, still going out drinking with my girlfriends and was like, there's something else. So I took 3 months driving around by myself, traveling around the country. Hey, Deb, so glad to see you. And then I actually traveled to Big Sur, California. You know about that part of the country? It's right on the coast. There's an institute there called the Esalen Institute. It's really famous. You should Google it if you're at all interested. It's where a lot of in the 60s and 70s, a lot of psychologists and people involved in personal growth and stuff developed all their research and wrote their books. So I lived there for a couple of years. So that was pretty cool. I learned all about conscious dance and meditation and yoga and cooking. And I spent a couple of years there. Then I started teaching yoga. So I went and lived in an ashram in the Santa Cruz Mountains for about 2 years. I think that's why I'm so bad at technology, because all my peers in there, because that's when everyone started getting cell phones. This is like 2000 to 2005.
Right.
Started having their personal computers and email addresses and cell phones. And I was like practicing silence every day until noon and meditating and doing yoga and breath work and stuff. And I think I just totally missed that whole time when everybody around my age was like learning how to do everything on their phone. The fitness truck guy has joined us.
Yes, and he says he loves your Instagram.
Me? Well, that can't be me.
Yeah, he was talking about you. That's my husband, by the way.
That's your husband. What? What's the fitness truck guy? That's a great picture.
Yeah. So that's his handle. But he was the one that was listening to you today, and of course he's at your Instagram. So thanks, honey. Yeah, it is.
Oh, honey, is he into fitness?
Yeah, he is. That is one of the things he's definitely into. He's very fit. He is, which is cool. They said I hate breath work. Yeah, meditating and doing breathing exercises are relaxing, Brittany. That is so true. So that's the benefits of it. You learn how to meditate and breathe. Did you think later on that possibly kind of helped you with, being a therapist maybe? Or?
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I could go on about that for a long time, but that'd be a whole other show. But, I think you learn to sit with yourself, and you learn to sit with yourself no matter what's going on, craziness all around you. And I think that's a really important skill, no matter what industry you work in, because you're going to need it in your relationships, in your family, in your work. You learn to kind of sit with whatever craziness is happening and just be with yourself, and you learn to respond instead of immediately react. And I think that's one of the most challenging things, and I want to kind of say for women too, it's really important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you were around 23 when that was going on, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you were traveling 25, by yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting, everyone. Quenby was actually traveling the country by herself for like 3 months. So any other interesting adventures while you were doing that?
Oh, it was all an adventure. It was crazy. I mean, like I said, I grew up single mom, 6 kids. I'd never taken a vacation. We didn't have money for stuff like that. I mean, I hadn't done much traveling. I'd taken a few vacations as a young adult myself, but I wasn't exposed to too much. And so to just get behind the wheel and say, I'm going wherever I want, whenever I want. I'll never forget, driving into places that look nothing like New England. I grew up in New England, a very old part of Massachusetts, Victorian houses, the water. And then you go somewhere like Utah with all the red rocks and the arches. And it's like another planet.
So beautiful.
So it's so beautiful. I mean, this country is it's so different depending on where you go. It's so diverse. And so I'm really glad I had that time to really see the country and see how different it is from state to state.
Do you have
Alana says, I hate breath work.
I know. I was trying to think about that too. I thought that was funny when I saw that earlier. I love traveling, and you're right. People will be surprised, because some people really stay in their bubble.
Yeah.
But the United States is such a phenomenal, it has so many different landscapes.
Ecosystems, and it's just like, what?
Beautiful. But you're right. Utah is just gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
Oh God, that's one of my favorite places now too. I mean, that was, and again, that time with myself. I mean, 3 months in a truck by yourself is like, you really get comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. And so, what was I ready to ask you in regards to that? I think I lost my track of mine.
Brittany says, I didn't get to travel much as a child either. See, then Brittany, it's like what you're going to be able to offer your kid is going to be really different.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So did you have like something funny, like a funny story you like to share on that road trip? A little funny story?
I don't know. I mean, I can't think of any little funny story. I mean, for me, it was more just like so empowering, so awe-inspiring. What I think of mostly now, though, because I'm 45, I just turned 45 on Friday, and it's like the stuff I was doing then, because I was 23, a woman by myself, sleeping in rest stops, meeting new people, I stayed in hostels the whole time. I mean, can you imagine doing that, Terry, right now?
No.
I mean, it was kind of stupid, but that's what young people do because their brains aren't all the way developed yet. They don't understand like the consequences. And, I was kind of a tough young woman, I think.
But I'm glad you did it because I think it molded and that's probably why you do so well and why you're so successful in all your businesses that you have, because you were willing to do that, because you have to step out of your comfort zone to do that. To be traveling by yourself like that across country. Now, I thought this was really interesting, and I'm glad you shared it. So I'm going to ask you so you can share it to everybody else. So you was in a professional belly dance.
I told you that. Yeah. Beth Tillman, that was Brene Brown with a B, Brene Brown. Definitely, she's going to watch her interviews on YouTube. The belly dance thing, I was just always interested. I love to dance. I just love dancing. And so that was as an adult. I think I started that when I was 28 or so. And I did something different. It's called actually tribal belly dance. And it's very different than what we think of. So it's a lot more like old world costumes. And it's it's improv. So it's not like choreographed, and it's women dancing together in circles. So it's not a solo art form. It's not like when we think of belly dance, I think what a lot of people think of is a woman in a very slinky outfit with lots of coins and a slit all the way up her skirt, very flashy. And this is more like the word tribal. So we wore huge skirts and lots of like tribal jewelry and stuff. And when you dance together with other women in circles, that's kind of the origin of belly dance, was that women did it together historically. And they did it to learn how to breathe and how to move. For childbirth, women would dance for other people that were going through childbirth. And so this kind of goes back to that. But oh gosh, was that fun and hard, to learn it all. But it was really fun. And a really great,
So it really sounds like it has a lot of great benefits. So I know you said you like to dance, but was that the real reason you got into it, or was there another reason that you said, hey, I'm going to do this?
I don't, I remember I was living in Santa Cruz, California. I did my undergraduate work there in sociology. I tried out belly dancing in grad school. So interesting. Yeah. I think a lot of people try it out. I mean, women are drawn to it. I remember seeing a few women perform this particular style. And you just, you watch the women dancing, and you have to make eye contact. You have to see the people that are dancing next to you, or you don't know what to do because it's all improv. And I just started to cry. Like, I kind of teared up. And have you ever noticed this, Terry, or you guys in the chat? Like, when you're in the presence of something touching or something that is important to you, or truth, you get that emotional kind of like choked up and it doesn't really
Oh,
make sense, or a little
oh, oh,
tearful?
oh, yes, all the time. It's like the older I get, the worse that gets. Because sometimes I
Or
don't
the
want to
better, or the
have
better.
that.
Because I think it's a really good clue for us. I think
Mhm.
when you're listening to somebody talk and you get a little like choked up or a little tear up, or you see someone doing something, I think it's a clue for us that there's something there for us. Maybe it's something we need to move towards. And so I saw these women performing and I was like, I need to do that. And again, it was kind of scary. Like, I don't know, but I loved it. I did it for years and years. I stopped when I got pregnant with Torvald. I danced for a little while when I was pregnant with him, but then I just didn't ever get back to it because then I had a little human I needed to take care of. And that was a huge commitment. It was like three nights a week dancing and then performances on the weekends and stuff. Maybe I'll find some pictures if I can, Terry, and I'll post them on Instagram and tag you if
Oh
I'm
my God,
brave.
do you know, I was going to ask you that. So you've made my day. Yeah, you should do that for like what is it called? The Throwback Thursday. Oh my gosh, we would
Oh,
love that. We would love that.
I would have to feel super brave, but I would do it and say, maybe if I can use you and say, Terry asked me to share.
Yeah, definitely use me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I just wanted to wear the belly dance clothes, says Alana, probably. They're so beautiful.
No, Tiana, but that's cute. I just realized she was saying turbo like
My
the
son's
car.
name is Torvald. Did I say that?
No, you didn't say that. It's just
Oh,
no, you didn't say that. Yeah. But good question, Tiana. Yeah, and he's super smart. Oh my goodness, he shows up a lot of time for her Friday lives. He's a
oh,
really smart young man and already business minded. He's telling
oh
people
my gosh. He
he's
charges us
like
for
he's telling
everything.
people to send out these super chats. He said it's super chat time. Yeah,
Hey, Leslie.
I was like, he is so cute. Hey,
Oh, he
Leslie.
charges us for everything. And I support it because, listen, I saw Leslie just came in. I just want to say hi to our reseller's passion. I wish I knew then what I know about money now. Like, I was never money driven. I didn't learn that from my parents. My mom, not the best with money, loved beautiful things more than being smart about money. And I just didn't know that I didn't know how much you need to have the kind of life I want to have now. And I wish I did. So with Torvald, I'm trying to teach him to be an entrepreneur right from the get out. I'm like, hey, you should do that and you could sell them or you could monetize that.
And it's
So
working because he's thinking that. So that's great advice that you're giving right now. Have that conversation with the kids right now. And he's how
right,
old
like
again?
how do you do both? Like how do you have life work that's meaningful to you that you enjoy? Because I don't think you should get some crap job just because it pays well. No, I think you need to be fulfilled on many levels from your work. But there is a way to find work that you really like and care about and make decent money. They're both important.
I
So
totally
that
agree with you. Because that's why so many people get depressed and then they start taking antidepressants because, like you said, they're in a job where they're making money, so they kind of feel stuck because they're like, "What am
yeah,
I going to do next?" And but they're not happy. Yeah, so
yeah.
you're totally right about that. So you're teaching him at a young age because he's even taking care of chickens too, right?
Oh, he loves the chickens. It's like he can get a little bit obsessive. Like he's on to something. Like he's been on the chicken thing for like a year. And man, is he crazy in love with chickens. Everything's chickens. Oh, look at this great comment from Veronica. I wasn't
Mhm.
really raised like that either. And I hope I can do it differently with my kid. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's a real opportunity with parenting.
That's right. It definitely
And
is.
we repeat the same old stuff unless we know better, unless we learn about it and we face our stuff. We repeat the same unconscious patterns of our family. So it's like
Hmm.
if you become aware, hey, I have this value and I want to pass that along, you have a better chance of being able to do that.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
And
And
I
he's
think it's
learning.
a failure kind of our society and culture that we don't teach people to find work that they care about and that's meaningful for them and they actually want to do. So many people are funneled into this job because it makes money or their grandfather did it. But like we don't teach people how to look within and find what do you really want to do with your life? And how can you do that in a way that's, financially sustainable, but what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? And it can change over time, but I think we fail young people in that way by not allowing them to explore that.
Yeah, I totally agree. The school systems definitely don't teach it, and but like you said, it's up to us. It's up to us parents, and you're doing a great job. Because, like I said, I could tell he's all about it. He was like, I almost think he can run a YouTube show.
Oh, he wants his own channel already. And I'm like, when you're old enough, I'll help you, but I would have to manage the whole thing. He's very creative the way he makes his video clips. So I try and put them in every once in a while to my videos, but he makes really good videos. At
Oh my
9,
God.
he's awesome.
He got it from his mom, his sharp mom. So yeah, because he, like I said, he's super smart. So like obviously you're doing a reselling, you're doing really well. What are some tips that you can give people considering reselling? What are some things that maybe you wish you knew in the beginning, possibly that you could tell somebody to avoid as starting out?
I mean, the thing about reselling is it's a pretty safe gig to start out. I mean, there's not a huge upfront cost, so I think it's a pretty safe gig. I don't think I made any huge mistakes. I certainly undercharged when I first started because I didn't know. So you learn as you go. But I think that's the biggest thing. I just hear a lot of fear from people. People want to try something new. Like they want to try selling on eBay, but they've only sold on Poshmark and eBay's intimidating. Or they want to cross post, but it sounds so confusing. And, I just hear that fear gets in the way for people a lot. And I just think people ought to allow themselves to try and learn new stuff. Like, let yourself just go on there and try and ask questions and watch videos. There's tons of information out there for anything you want to do in reselling. And you don't have to be perfect when you first start out. You just kind of jump in and you're like, okay, you learn as you go. And I don't think people are going to make really any kind of mistakes that's really going to hurt them more than like maybe $10 because you undercharge for shipping. I mean, that's not a huge deal. Like, I think people should allow themselves to try any of these things within the world of reselling that they want to try, whether it's a YouTube channel or selling on Etsy or cross-posting or whatever it is, running an Instagram sale. Kind of let yourself do it. The stakes are really not that high with reselling because you wouldn't do that with like your highest dollar items. No, start with your low dollar stuff and just kind of let yourself learn and do it. Don't be so afraid of mistakes.
Yeah, I totally agree. You said it was interesting because me and a couple of friends were having a conversation about what holds people back, and fear is definitely one of the things that hold people back. They'll really just in their mind start making excuses, fearful excuses for why. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Leslie. They'll start making
she's great at
excuses.
that. Leslie's great at that.
She
She
sure
tries
is.
all sorts of stuff and she encourages other people to try all sorts of stuff. She's great with that.
She is. She's doing it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, one of the things I think I've learned, one of the gifts of being in my 40s, is that if you're afraid, that doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean don't move forward. Like, fear doesn't mean, hey, I shouldn't do that. I'm afraid to start a YouTube channel. I feel afraid, so I'm not going to do it. No, fear is not a stop sign. You can do things even though you're afraid. You just have to have a nice little friendly conversation with your fear. Like, hey, fear, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, you're a little nervous about starting a new YouTube channel, let's say, but fear doesn't get to make all the decisions for you. It's just like, you might listen to it and say, what do you have to say? What could possibly happen? What are the risks here? Okay, thanks. And I'm still going to move forward anyway. I'm going to do it even though I'm a little bit afraid.
You've said that so well because at the end of the day, we have fear. It's normal to fear.
Right.
It's normal, and but like you said, you just push through it anyway.
Right.
And keep things moving on. I totally agree with you. That's great advice. And you brought up some other good points too when it comes to reselling. It's not a lot of overhead. You can pretty much get into it for little to nothing. And then I like the other part that you brought up. That's kind of important because I think for some people, this is where they may possibly be stuck. They, decide to pick one site to sell on and they're not stretching and going to other sites. Like even now you're trying new sites, which I am too. We're all going out there trying new sites and that's so important. So being that you brought that up because you're our guest and I like to promote you, what do you do to cross list? Talk to us about that.
I will. Look at this comment. Fear doesn't get to make all the decisions. It's going to be my new mantra. Love that. Well-read rotor. What a great, did I say that? I guess I did.
To a certain extent, yeah, you
One of
definitely
us said it. That's true. And I
yeah.
just want to say, like, I run a little anxious. Like I have some anxiety issues. I'm not just like one of these people that's super laid back and dishing out advice. Like I live this stuff. I'm afraid most of the time. I find the world to be a pretty overwhelming place a lot of the time, you know? It's not super easy for me. It's just a practice to me where it's like, I don't want my life to get too small. I don't want my business to get too small. I don't want to miss out on opportunities to make more money and grow and try new things because I'm afraid. So I just do it even though I am afraid. But I use Vendu to cross post.
Okay. And you use Vendu. And how long have you been doing that?
God, I think it was during the pandemic that I started, I think. At least a year then, at least a year, if not more. And I've just done eBay and Poshmark. So as a part-timer, I mean, I have a lot going on, like most of us. So right. I'm in a good place right now. But cross-listing, game changer. You know, if you're just going to do one thing, get your items on more than one platform, increase your chances of sales. Like that's probably one of the best things you can do for your business.
And if y'all are interested in this, so like people that are listening in the audience and also on a podcast, again, go to Quenby's Instagram account, which I'll have it posted, but it is The Grateful Queen on Instagram. And you can actually click on her link. And she does have a link to set up Vendu. And that's a great way because I even say from the very beginning, go ahead and start cross-listing. So if you're thinking about it, just right from the very beginning, just go ahead and do it because you're really stretching yourself and it's done, you know?
And it wasn't available. Like I started reselling 10 years ago. It wasn't available. And now it is. So if you're just getting started, just start that way because it's been a tremendous, it's totally changed the game for us. What did Leslie have to say? That's why I love Quenby.
I did that kind of fast. So let me put it back up. Sorry.
She does it afraid, and she tells people she does it afraid. My sister from another mister.
That's right.
Oh, God, that means so much to me from Leslie, of all people, because I just admire Leslie so much. She says I'm not allowed to be her fan. I'm supposed to be her friend. We're friends. But I really feel like we're fan. I'm like such a big fan. I'm like, I just think she's such an extraordinary human being. And God, does she offer it up to everybody, just like you do, Terry. You just keep giving, and sharing, and so much motivating and inspiring stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. I think we have some phenomenal people in this group. So yeah, definitely follow A Reseller's Passion. Hey, the name says it for itself. You will learn everything in and out about reselling. And she's another person that you need to check out her YouTube as well. Same title, A Reseller's Passion. And everyone that's in the comments, feel free to share your YouTube. Make sure everybody's subscribed to each other, okay? I think I am subscribed to most people up here, but definitely reach out to me. I'm happy to subscribe because I definitely want to help everybody. I believe you. You know, I believe in doing that, helping people. So that's really important. So, so those are good points. So cross-listing is key. Any other advice you would like to give?
About what? I'm not really an advice giver, but I'm happy. I'm like, I don't know if I have any good advice about anything.
I tell you something that I like that you said the other day. You were talking about how people sometimes don't promote their YouTube like they should.
Oh yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. I liked what you said. I liked what you said about that.
I can't remember exactly. That was on one of the Friday Live, and I was just talking about, you know, like there's a lot of you out there that have great content, and you're starting out, and you're just trying to get to your 1,000. And I think it is really important to promote what you're doing everywhere, like to go on and collaborate with as many people as you can, share it on your Instagram, keep posting, keep sharing it everywhere, just keep showing up in everybody's feeds. Because it's like to make these videos takes time and energy, and you guys have great content, and you just got to keep pushing it though. Veronica said, I would love more subscribers. What else she say? I tried to do what?
Yeah, I apologize.
I try to keep it fun and informative on my channel, but I'm still learning. And that's the thing. I think YouTube is genius that it usually takes people at least a year, most people, to get to their 1,000. And there's a reason for that, guys, because you learn as you go. You learn how to make better videos. You learn how to share better content. You learn. And if, like, I look back at some of my first videos, it's embarrassing as heck. Like, I don't want anyone to see those videos. So there's a reason why it takes a while to get your 1,000 subscribers, your 4,000 watch hours, and get monetized, because you need that time to grow. So don't rush it too much, because by the time you get a lot of subscribers, you'll finally be making really good content, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, you said a lot right there, but you're so right, because I think about me, and of course I'm still working on it, but it's like, it's a progression. Almost like every time you do something, you get a little bit better, get a little bit better. I totally agree with that. Well, I'm just going to say, guys, I really appreciate Quenby coming out. She's just a phenomenal individual. I just admire her and love her. And y'all have got to follow her. Like I said, I can't say it enough. And I want to thank everybody that came out. What a wonderful group of people that came out. All of y'all are obviously entrepreneurs. You're doing your thing. And thank you so much for coming out. And I appreciate everyone giving me your time, because that's so important. Time is so valuable, especially for entrepreneurs. Everyone have a great night. Thank you again.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.